take a pen and write something down right now. If you can't, write down, I need to write something down. If you were able to write something down at the first try, congratulations, you don't need me. If you were able to write something down the second try, you're almost there. When we say, I have a writer's block, we are experiencing one of three things. But what we're not experiencing is writer's block. And I can know because I have had many writer's blocks, but I wanted to make my living writing, so I've had to overcome this demon. And overcame it I did. And so can you, if you know this one secret. Writer's block doesn't exist. Writer's block is a catch-all term in my opinion. It points to a general feeling of inability, not a specific one. So it's not solvable this way. And this is not a semantic argument either. Writer's block doesn't live in our brain. There's not a specific part of it we can point out. While there are many other reasons that we can actually point to in our brain. These are mental states that are blocking us. And if we know these mental states, we can actually change them, alter them. And to alter the mental state that is blocking you is the solution. The unblock, the unlock. It's the inability to play for whatever reason. There was this interesting study, I think by Piaget, who studied small children. And one of the groups were perfectly fine, normal upbringing children, and the other group was neglected or abused. It was a very sad study. So they sat these children down in a room with the scientist and they gave them a toy. This is my toy. And they observed them for a while. What they found is that the healthy children, they started playing almost instantly. They were completely at ease. But the uneasy children, they were distrusting and they were monitoring the scientists, looking for the smallest sign of betrayal. So what are the actual reasons we are unable to write? It may be that you don't know what to say yet. If you're still thinking about it, it's no use to write anything down, right? So perhaps we're mistaking our patience and our thinking for unproductivity. To any writing process there's also a thinking part and figuring out what the angle will be and what you need to say. I think I'm actually gonna do a video about that. When it's done, I'll leave it here. The one that gets me every time is the inability to focus, and there are two ways to not be able to focus. The first is in attention, so I'm lacking the attention span or I'm just bored. The second lack of focus is in specificity, so I am answering too broad of a question, I'm trying to make too broad of a point. It could also be we are dealing with a case of perfectionism, which is the unwillingness to fail, much like the children that are distrusting and unsafe. Or we could be dealing with a case of imposter syndrome. And 9 out of 10 times when I'm feeling like an imposter, it's because I'm saying something that isn't that truthful. There's much more to it and I'll go into detail on it in this video. We may also very well be dealing with a case of procrastination. And procrastination is an interesting one because it can go both ways. You can either feel too little urgency to do something or feel too much. I have often found myself incapacitated by a feeling of overwhelm, by feeling that there's so much I want to do and not being able to pick one thing to do. Now, another common one for me is that I am confusing preference with prerequisite. For example, listen to the difference here. See if you can make it out. I'd really like a cup of coffee before getting to work. That's really my preference. Versus, if I do not have my coffee, I cannot work. Another good example is that if I do not sleep well, I cannot perform. Which is much different than saying, I rather prefer having a good night's sleep, but if I don't, I will be able to perform nonetheless. So that's all well and good, but what if you do not have the time to be your own psychologist and dive into your inner workings? Well, I completely understand. Here are some practical tips I found work for me that you can use to overcome writer's block now. The first one is to get up and move and stand while writing or walk around a bit. And another one is to chew. So whenever I feel I lack focus, I get up and I chew some gum or something like that and get my mind going again. If you're feeling bored for whatever reason, a great way is to change medium. So grab yourself a typewriter or a pen and write by hand for an hour or so. The second most important tip I can give is to keep the momentum going. Momentum is everything. So if I feel I start hesitating and start losing momentum, I just start writing gibberish. Or I start writing the way I speak. So whenever I speak, I can just flop it out, just throw it out there, and I want to do the same with my pen. So next time you are feeling hesitant to write, here are some questions you can ask yourself to unlock everything. This checklist, by the way, is one that I sent to members of the One Pen Club. If you want to become a member, you can go to onepenshow.com/secrets, and there you can sign up for free. And I send out useful resources like this. So here are the questions you can ask next time you're hesitating. Am I trying to make it too perfect? Well, try saying it quick and dirty first. Am I distracted? Remove the distraction or ignore it completely. Am I trying to make too broad of a point? Try and ask a more specific question. Am I feeling like an imposter? Rephrase it in a way that is truthful to you. If you do all this, you'll experience the opposite of writer's block, which is called flow. And there's one critical ingredient to flow, and if you master it, you become unstoppable. Watch this video next to unlock your dormant superpower now. While I have you here, this is the Pilot Custom 823, which is one of my favorite pens, and she's a looker. Now click the video.